Hey there again, folks. Welcome back to New Day, New Game. It's the first one I've recorded in quite a while. And hopefully this is okay. This is the first one. This is the first one I've recorded in a while. I did the update video, the recent update video, right before this, and I realized that my audio wasn't the best. So, I had messed around with like OBS after I got this new computer. Didn't actually record anything much, but nothing worth uploading anyway. But I thought I had it about set up, but apparently it got reset again. So, like the microphone levels and stuff like that. So, yeah. So hopefully it's good now. Hopefully it's better anyway. So yeah, maybe it'll be good. To my ears, I think it's not perfect, but maybe. Might actually be time I got a proper microphone and not use the webcam. But anyway, this is what I got right now. It keeps going up into the yellow crowd. Let me turn my microphone down just a little bit. It's the one that's screwing it up, isn't it? Yeah, it's gonna screw it up. But maybe not that bad, hopefully. Maybe not. Okay, yeah, maybe it'll be good. Yeah, it just went up into the yellow again. I'm looking over on OBS, by the way. You know, it has like the little meter, you know. Bloop, 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 bloop. You know. Anyway, we're playing a game. Playing a game today. A Case of Distrust. I got this in the Humble Bundle recently, and I was like, this looks like it could be pretty cool. I want to see what it's like. So, haven't played anything of it yet. So, but I looked at the description on Steam, and it's supposed to be kind of like a detective type game. So, let's see what it's about. Ooh. I woke in my desk chair. Do I click? Oh, I did click. Oh. Across from me were his piercing amber eyes. They surprised me at first, but I should have known he'd be there. I stretched and said, mid-yawn, not very nice to sneak into a sleeping woman's apartment. But his stare just continued. I laughed at his glare, because that's how I always like to greet glares, with a laugh. Sometimes my laughs are greeted with gunshots, so sometimes not the best choice. But that is the choice I will make. Hope he doesn't have a gun. I laughed at his glare. I'd seen San Francisco's true thugs, hardened cops, and deadly politicians, but none could ever match that gaze. I'm assuming it's a cat. I knew it didn't have what he wanted. Reaching into my coat, I took out my knife and flicked it open. Okay, maybe not a cat. I mean, I've had a couple cats, but I've never ever decided, like, you know what, I'm going to give this cat a knife. I mean, let's give this person a knife, you know. I was assuming there's a cat or like a dog or something. Let's give him a knife. That way, you know, it'll be like, hey, we got some agency in our demise. Gave him a knife, sliding across the desk. Look, I said, that's all there is. Take it or leave it. The detective knows when she's beat, and I knew then he wanted to search the place, and that's what he would do. I sighed, knowing my weakness for his type. All right, I said, let's look. It is a cat! He let out a gleeful meow in victory. I picked up the knife and cut a piece of my apple that the cat had rejected. Always a sore winner, I jabbed. But I was smiling too because I was telling the truth. There was absolutely no other food in my apartment. Okay. Still weird that it gave me the option to give the cat a knife. The cat often dropped by to scavenge. He made a lot of noise when he thought I was holding out on him. Right now the place was clean empty. No food anywhere. I had to prove it to him. Oh. That's cool. I'd taken copies of old murder cases from the SFPD records when I had left. I loved reading through them, even though my own contributions were minimal. At that time, I longed for those types of jobs. The truth was, any work was hard to find for a female detective. The lamp had belonged to my Uncle Lewis. He'd been an SFPD officer, one who argued policewomen could be good detectives, even while the others jeered at me. I knew he'd been right, but my current workload didn't help that claim. Let's think about Lewis. I don't know anything about him. Thought about Lewis more often than I wanted. I was lousy at handling the emotions behind those thoughts. It's a bird. Kept a small statue underneath the side table. It had been a police evidence in a crime, and its owner hadn't wanted it back. I took a shine to it, so I snagged it for myself on my way out to the department. Well, that seems not that great. Packaged cigarettes were the latest trend, but I still preferred to roll my own. The ashtray was evidence that it was a practiced skill. I suppose I had a lot of free time back then. The cat had waltzed into my apartment a few years earlier. He kept coming back, so there was rarely a morsel to eat. He'd continue his loud meowing until I proved to him the place was empty of food. Okay, hopefully my head's not blocking anything too important. Yeah, okay, it's not blocking the text or nothing. This game's got a really cool art style. Oh yeah, let's actually talk to the cat. It doesn't matter how doe-eyed you are, cutie pie. We've got no food around, I told him. He licked his chops and looked at me. Apparently, he still didn't believe that. I needed to contradict him somehow, to show him that something in the apartment, that would prove it was empty of food. Contradictor, go back. What is this, Phoenix Wright? Went back to the apartment to search for clues that I could show him. What was that? There were no cases just then, but the cat was meowing and needed attention. I had to contradict the cat by first talking to him, then pointing to a piece of evidence in my notebook that proved the apartment was empty of food. Okay, this is kind of like Phoenix Wright. Okay, so you gotta look at this stuff. Statements. Interesting. My old notebook, now filled to the brim. I wrote everything down, even the minor details. Never know what can be useful. First half had my old cases. Details from the beats I used to walk in. My policewoman days. Of course, policemen were forbidden from going on patrol, but Lewis often overlooked that rule. Okay, let's look at the second half. Wait, what? I can't look at the second half. What? This sucks. You have to choose like what half you look at? Stupid. Newspaper was flopped on the floor. Its headline about the death of Lenin, leader of the Red Menace, sweeping Russia. It seemed the Bolsheviks had lost their head. The regular white icebox, tinged yellow with age, half blocked the kitchen doorway. My income rarely kept much stocked in it. And right now it was empty. Okay, I bet that's what we show the cat. Oh, we can actually click on the door. The door to the outside world. If I left now, though, the cat would start wailing so loud I'd get complaints from the neighbors. No, he needed convincing before I could leave. I think I've looked at everything. I think. Okay, well, I guess we can use the icebox now. Right now it was empty. Open the icebox so the cat could see inside. Empty, I told him. The cat looked quizzically at the open door, then back at me. Sorry, fella, there's no grub in there for me either. He stared at me with eyes disappointed as I felt. Those big yellows always got to my soul. Thoughts of my family filled my head. My sister Muriel, had sent me a letter with an update of her life in Chicago. She and her husband had just purchased a new home outside the bluster of the city. Their 3 young children were looking forward to the move. I had never told Muriel, but those letters kept me going. My sister had the ordinary lifestyle that I had rejected. I'd wanted to change the world. I want to change the world to bring justice for victims, especially the ones that no longer had a voice. Not that I was helping advance that cause with the types of cases coming my way. My mind spiraled into the usual series of questions. Had I even impacted the women's movement? Had I made any change on society at all? Was my plodding career worth losing traditional happiness? What was the point in the life I had chosen? A loud meow from the cat snapped my thoughts back into the moment. I took a deep breath and grinned back at him. Guess you can scram now, I said. Nobody's going to come knocking with food for you, fella. Somebody's knocking. There immediately came a banging on the front door. Beyond a nuisance, this cat was psychic too. You order out, I asked him. Well, that was weird. That it in the middle. In the doorway was the regrettably familiar face of Connor Green. Who's this Connor Green guy? He looks a bit smug. Like. I stared at him. A hired hand for whomever needed a job done, but Green snitched whenever he was put in the squeeze. Working the beats, I remembered that all too well. Remarkably, the underground had been blind to it, but Green wasn't particularly assiduous. I was certain the criminal ranks would eventually plug him. He looked at me through the doorway with a coy smile. Well, ain't you going to invite me inside? I started closing the door, but he stuck a foot out to stop me. Hey now, he chided. Foul way to treat a customer, Malone. So that was his angle. Hire me as a detective. I wondered what a bootlegger would need with a private eye, but he answered without my prompt. I'll make this quick. I can't take this to the hog house or the pigs would laugh me out. Oh, hog house. I know what he means there. I was like, hog house? And other dicks just aren't as tempting. His grin widened. Okay. Thought this was going to be quick, I said, and I started rolling a cigarette. It wasn't quick, and I'd already rolled and lighted a second smoke when Green finally finished his story. I know the important bits in my book. And it started with a letter, slipped under his door with a wide envelope. The envelope contained a single typewritten leaf, which he handed to me. It read, "End your game, or we'll end you." It had no signature, instead ending with only a small scribble in the bottom right corner that resembled a black hand. Green had a lead on a new rum running scheme, a connection from Vancouver. He had given a sample to Tiny Paul, the gangster who ran the 10-spoon speakeasy for mob boss Jerry Ferry. They'd agreed to buy in for more. Green surmised the letter was about his rum running. By the way, Tiny Paul, it's kind of a decent, it's kind of a decent gangster name. Not a good porn star name, though. If you're like, Tiny Paul, my name's Paul, and I want to be a porn star. Let's just think of another name. Although I guess Curly was bald, so I mean, maybe it'll work. I don't know. I don't think it'd work, but it's up to you to decide. Because I have so many aspiring porn stars watching my channel, so I always like to give useful advice out. He suspected Redstone Stable, another bootlegger, of sending the letter. He told me that Stable ran a barber shop during the day and gave me the address. That would be weird if that was a demographic I had a lot of. It'd be really weird. Green needed to know who the threat was from. He'd get Paul's gang to deal with them and continue to scheme to get rich. If I go snooping myself, he concluded, folks see I'm not trusting people. No trust leads to no customers. I need to play it low key, which is where you come in. I raised my eyebrow and stared him through the cigarette smoke. Something in his yarn was still twisted. I got a little distracted with a stupid joke I made, and I actually don't completely know what I just read, even though I read it out loud. He must have noticed my retinas, because he said, I worked closely with Lewis. I'm sure he'd want to protect me as much as any other victim. Oh, trying to hit a sore spot. My uncle. I finally accepted Lewis's death. Okay, so I'm betting he died in the line of duty. I'm still searching for answers, because maybe this will tell me what happened. I'm still searching for answers after his death. He'd been a man obsessed with helping victims and bringing justice to those beyond salvation. With that ethos, I never understood how he could have taken his own life. Those thoughts haunted me. I quit the SFPD and started my own practice, taking his philosophy. Was Green worth my time? Would he be worth Lewis's? I actually gave you the answer I was looking for. I was wondering, well, okay, we didn't die in the line of duty, so I was wrong about that. Okay, I don't like that guy's movement. Ow, I think it just hurt my neck. Ow. Green had tipped off my uncle in a few cases. I wondered if that was enough to warrant my protection. Before I could think past my headache, he threw a bill in my lap. Keep the C-note as a retainer, and don't worry about getting in touch. I'll find you later for a chat. What's a C-note? Is that 100? Okay, yeah, it was 100. He turned down the hallway and I let him go. If he was willing to give me $100 with no commitment, I wouldn't stop him. Turned back to the apartment, still confused about the whole story. My headache wasn't helping either. Whenever I lacked clarity, a trip to Southern coffee was usually the cure. Found a gold plate on the outside that read PC Malone, private investigator. Am I supposed to leave? I think I'm supposed to leave. It says something about Southern coffee. It was the only place I needed to go to clear my head. Southern coffee. Okay, yeah. I thought at first it was like, is that something she has like in her refrigerator? But then I was like, nothing's in her refrigerator. I mean, I guess the cat would be like, I'm not gonna drink that coffee. So maybe there was coffee in there, but she just didn't mention it. But yeah, I was pretty sure there wasn't. Southern Coffee was a basement dive. It wasn't modern, hip, or ever busy. It was my favorite place to down some paint, especially in the company of the best bartender in the city. We'll see what this looks like and call it a video. I held a driver, gave him the address, and stepped through the back door. I debated talking with the driver. Okay, let's talk to him. Just before starting to talk with the driver, I noticed a newspaper beside me with a headline about the recent International Winter Sports Week. What's about it? International Winter Sports Week began today with the opening ceremony held in the Alpine city of Chamois, France. 75% sure I mispronounced it. I about said misspelled it. But then that would be like me mispronouncing. The United States has sent 24 of our finest men and women to compete in this inaugural contest. Our hopefuls are led by Charles Jutral, national speed skating champion, and our men's ice hockey team, who looks to upset the Canadian favorites. Organized by the French Olympic Committee, the same body that runs the famous Summer Games, this week of sports has been informally dubbed the Winter Olympics. Competition begins tomorrow. Is that actually how the Winter Olympics started? We'll put down the paper as we arrived at my destination. Well, we wound up not talking to the guy anyway. I said I was going to talk to him, and then we read the paper. I was like, okay. Southern Coffee was an automat diner. Ethel Burgess, the lone waitress, was friendly to help with any inquiry. Of course, if you winked at her right, she'd show you the way to the downstairs toilet where Frankie played bathroom attendant. What does that mean? What does that mean? Southern Coffee had the distinct feeling of home. The familiar smell of mold in that old basement was enough to put a grin on my face. Okay, I'm glad we like mold, I guess. There's stuff to look at. But I am going to go ahead and call the video here. I do hope you guys enjoyed. Looks like a pretty cool game. I like the aesthetic, like the old timey, noir style, and I like transitions. That's pretty cool too, And the story so far is pretty cool, and I'm curious about the story, it sounds like she's gonna have a rough time, So yeah, I'm gonna keep playing this on my own. I do sincerely hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, the link will be down in the description as always. Ooh, I did forget. I did get it pulled up, but forgot to put it over here. How much is it? It is $15 if you want to get it for yourself. And yeah, the link is down in the description, so you can get it for yourself. And yeah, I'm back doing the YouTube videos, so hope you guys enjoyed. Because they'll keep happening. Later, folks. Oh, and if you liked the video, feel free to leave a like. And let me know what you thought. Need to remember to say that. It's been a while. I'm really rusty. As rusty as the background there. Haha. In this old, rusty bar. Yeah. Later, folks.